This is Hoot Chapter 16, Part 2. Roy was aching to sneak over to the junkyard and visit Mullet Fingers. He wanted to find out what had happened last night at the Mother Paula's property. The problem was Roy's mother. She invoked the Sunday rule as soon as he returned from the skateboard park, and a family outing was launched. Making good on his promise, Roy's father took him out to the Tamiami Trail to an Indian tourist shop that offered airboat trips through the Everglades. Roy ended up having a great time, even though the noise was so loud that it hurt his eardrums. The tall Seminole who was driving the airboat wore a straw cowboy hat. He said the engine was the same type used on small airplanes. The rush of wind made Roy's eyes water as the flat-bottomed boat whisked across the sawgrass flats and weaved through the narrow, winding creeks. It was cooler than a roller coaster. Along the way, they stopped to look at snakes, bullfrogs, chameleons, raccoons, opossums, turtles, ducks, herons, two bald eagles, an otter, and, by Roy's count, 19 alligators. His father got most of the action on video, while his mother took pictures with her new digital camera. Although the airboat was very fast, the ride across the shallows was like gliding on silk. Again, Roy was astounded by the immense flatness of the terrain, the lush horizons, and the exotic abundance of life. Once you got away from all the jillions of people, Florida was just as wild as Montana. That night, lying in bed, Roy felt a stronger connection to Mullet Fingers and a better understanding of the boy's private crusade against the Pancake House. It wasn't just about the owls. It was about everything. All the birds and animals, all the wild places that were in danger of being wiped out. No wonder the kid was mad, Roy thought, and no wonder he was so determined. When Roy's parents came in to say goodnight, he told them he'd never forget their trip to the Everglades, which was the truth. His mom and dad were still his best friends, and they could be fun to hang out with. Roy knew it wasn't easy on them either, packing up and moving all the time. The Eberhards were a team, and they stuck together. While we were gone, Officer Delinquent left a message on the answering machine, Roy's father said. Last night he arrested a suspect in the vandalism on the construction site. Roy didn't say a word. Don't worry, Mr. Eberhard added. It wasn't the young man you told me about, the one who ran away from the hospital. It was the Matherson boy, Mrs. Eberhard cut in excitedly, the one who attacked you on the bus. And he tried to convince the police he was you. Roy couldn't pretend not to know. Garrett told me all about it, he admitted. Really? Garrett must have an inside source, Roy's father remarked. The best, said Roy. What else did the policeman's message say? That's about it. I got the impression he wanted me to ask if you knew anything about what happened. Me? Roy said. Oh, that's ridiculous, his mother interjected. How would Roy know what a hoodlum like Dana Matherson was up to? Roy's mouth was as dry as chalk. As close as he felt to his parents, he wasn't prepared to tell them that he'd mooned Dana purposely lured him toward the Mother Paula's property and then made up a story about a stash of cigarettes inside the trailer. It's certainly a strange coincidence, Mr. Eberhard was saying. Two different kids targeting the same location? Is it possible the Matherson boy hooked up with your friend, Beatrice's stepbrother? No way, Roy interjected firmly. Dana doesn't care about the owls. He doesn't care about anything but himself. Of course he doesn't, Roy's mother said. As his parents were shutting the bedroom door behind them, Roy said, Hey, Dad? Yes? Remember how you said the Pancake people could do whatever they wanted on that land if they had all the permits and stuff? That's right. How do I check up on something like that, Roy asked. Just to make sure it's all legal. I suppose you could call the building department at City Hall. Building department. Okay, thanks. After the door closed, Roy heard his parents talking softly in the hallway. He couldn't make out what they were saying, so he pulled the covers up to his neck and rolled over. Right away, he began drifting off. Before long, someone whispered his name. Roy assumed he was already dreaming. Then he heard it again, and this time the voice seemed so real that he sat up. The only sound in the bedroom was his own breathing. Great, he thought. Now I'm imagining things. He lay back on the pillow and blinked up at the ceiling. Roy? He went rigid under the covers. Roy, don't freak out. But that's exactly what he felt like doing. The voice was coming from under his bed. Roy, it's me. Me who? Roy's breath came in rapid bursts, and his heart pounded like a bass drum. He could feel the presence of the other person beneath him in the darkness, under the mattress. Me, Beatrice. Chill out, man. What are you doing here? Shh, not so loud. Roy heard her slide out from underneath the bed. Quietly, she stood up and moved to the window. There was just enough moon in the sky to light up her curly blonde hair and cast a reflection in her glasses. How do you get into in our house? Roy struggled to keep his voice low, but he was too rattled. How long have you been hiding here? All afternoon, Beatrice replied, while you guys were gone. You broke in? Relax, cowgirl. I didn't bust any windows or anything. The sliding door on your porch popped right off the track. They all do, Beatrice said matter-of-factly. Roy hopped out from under the sheets, locked the door, and switched on his desk lamp. Are you completely wacko? He snapped at her. Did somebody kick you in the head at soccer practice or what? I'm sorry about this. I really am, Beatrice said. It's just, things get kind of hairy at home. I didn't know where else to go. Oh, Roy was instantly sorry. He'd lost his temper. Was it Lana? Beatrice nodded gloomily. I guess she fell off her broom or something. That really sucks. Yeah, her and my dad got in a huge fight. I mean huge. She threw a clock radio at his head, so he beamed her with a mango. Roy had always thought that Beatrice Leap wasn't afraid of anything, but she didn't look so fearless now. He felt bad for her. It was hard to imagine living in a house where the grown-ups behaved so idiotically. You can stay here tonight, he offered. For real? As long as my parents don't find out. Roy, you're pretty cool, Beatrice said. He grinned. Thanks for calling me Roy. Thanks for letting me crash here. You take the bed, he said. I'll sleep on the floor. No way, Jose. Roy didn't argue. He gave Beatrice a pillow and a blanket, and she stretched out happily on the carpet. He turned off the light and said goodnight. Then he remembered something he meant to ask her. Hey, did you see Mullet Fingers today? Maybe. Well, he told me he had something planned for last night. He's always got something planned. Yeah, but this stuff can't go on forever, Roy said. Sooner or later, he's going to get caught. I believe he's smart enough to know that. Then we've got to do something. Like what? Beatrice asked faintly. She was fading towards sleep. You can't stop him, Roy. He's too darn thick-headed. Then I guess we've got to join him. Excuse me? Good night, Beatrice.